Alright, gotta give my final thoughts on this game if I can talk right. Words are hard. Man, final impressions, thoughts, and everything like that after just beating this. Holy shit. So I've never played the original Resident Evil, so it's gonna be a little weird trying to base some of this stuff off of, and I'm not trying to compare it too much to RE2 Remake, because I know it's not entirely fair to compare it to that, even though Capcom did a great job with that one. I feel like more so than this one. I wish I can compare this more to the original, because I never played the original, but I'm gonna have to go play the original at some point. But man, I would say visually looks great. Looks even possibly a little bit better than RE2 Remake in terms of graphics and whatnot. Did play this on PS4 Pro. I imagine on PC it's a lot better, but it was still a lot of fun. The combat was really fun. The characters, Jill and Carlos especially, I love their character development. I love them as characters. From what I heard about Carlos in the original game, you know, he wasn't that good. In this one, it's just like he's way better in terms of character and personality. So, do enjoy that. Nikolai, a freaking dick. Liked him as a villain. The other characters were more supportive, like Tyrell and other few people in there. Brad, he died early as hell. I guess that was always going to happen. Nobody else really stood out too much other than Carlos and Jill, and then Nikolai as the villain. And this is like, they're just kind of like, the other characters are just kind of like there. And he had like a few random characters, and one guy in the beginning of the game who was like, I don't trust you, I'm hiding in this truck and whatnot, you're trying to take my hiding spot, this and that. We don't ever see him again and find out what the hell happens to him. Like, what's up with that? I will say in terms of pacing though, RE2 had better pacing. Now I'm talking about original RE2 and RE2 Remake, because I played both of those. I definitely enjoyed the pacing better in those games than this one. The whole timeline thing is kind of weird too. Like half of this game seems like it takes place before RE2, and it's like the last half or last portion of the game takes place after RE2. It's very weird. I don't know. The pacing is definitely off on there. Nemesis turns out to be the best and worst thing about this game. Now this I will compare, because in terms of Nemesis from the original, from what I heard and seen, even though I never played it, Nemesis was more menacing and threatening in original RE3 than he is in this one. And then RE2 compared to Mr. X, it's like Nemesis is barely there, and like outside of the scripted scenes and boss fights, which the boss fights up until the final boss fight are relatively easy, even on hardcore, which I played on hardcore. But the final boss fight, I would say, well, the second to last part of that boss fight was really a pain. The actual final boss fight wasn't that bad compared to the first part of that. But Nemesis, man, he looks cool as shit. I mean, he's terrifying. And I like how he evolves and mutates on you like that, and just won't fucking die like he's Terminator or something. But he doesn't, like, he's not as menacing as Mr. X, sadly. Like, Mr. X in my first playthrough on RE2 original and remake. Well, no, original you had to like play through it again for him to show up, but either way, he was more in your face, more of like a threat, more like stalking you and just like, nah, you ain't going nowhere, I'm just gonna punch through walls and shit and I'm gonna break your freaking head in, type of stuff. Nemesis, he was scary early on, he was popping up when he first started, but man, he's just, I don't know, not as threatening as I want him to be, not as I was expecting him to be, because there was, IGN was reporting that, you know, Nemesis was going to be able to come into safe rooms for you. That didn't happen. You know, that was, I guess, something that I guess they took out last minute. I don't know what the hell. But I do still like his design. This is not a bad game by any means. RE3 Remake is a solid game. I would say the boss fights, though, like I said, were too easy until that final one. And that second to last one, especially with the camera being janky. The dodge mechanic, oh my god, the dodge mechanic, I almost forgot about this. That dodge mechanic, and not just in the final boss fight, but just in general. Like, that shit will work when it wanted to. And I don't necessarily mean like the regular dodge. No, I mean that like that dodge lets you go slow motion, almost Matrix-like, or bullet time like Max Payne. That shit worked when it fucking wanted to, I felt like, and that is not good. Capcom needs to fix that shit. Please. It's like, get a patch or something for that. That's, oof, you lose points for that one. So yeah, I feel like this is points for the dodge mechanic, Nemesis, as far as not being as threatening as I hoped it would, and what they advertised basically. And the city itself, it loses a point for that too, because the way it seemed like they were gonna have the city be more open-ended, like not necessarily open world, but just more open. You know, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna explore a lot of this Raccoon City more so. Nah. So for me, it's about a 7 or 8 out of 10. It's a solid game. It does come with the Resistance multiplayer, which I still have to try out and see. So this is just my thoughts, final thoughts on the campaign only. I know you can beat this on the campaign around 6 hours on normal. I beat it on hardcore, so I probably clocked out about maybe 7 to 8 hours, depending on when I render my full playthrough video. I'll see how that goes. Actually, probably longer than that, just because I died a lot. And that's the only reason why, as long as I died a lot. But, I don't know, should you get it? I still think you should get it. Try it out for yourself if you're a fan of Resident Evil games, fan of horror games. But, at the same time, you know, it's your money. Do what you want. But, man, I don't know. RE2 is still my favorite. Even before this remake, even before I even played this at all, like, RE2 original was always my favorite Resident Evil game, hands down. RE2 remake was even better. RE4 was my second favorite. So good, so good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this as these credits finish up. Capcom, fix your shit, please. This is solid, but damn, does it need improvement.